2:15, it's time for the Daylily dividing demonstration to begin. Please welcome Paula Jackson.
Thank you. I'm glad you're all here. And who doesn't love daylilies? Just look at the daylily crowd we have here. Daylilies come in all sizes, shapes, and colors. And they're perennial. They're a tough plant, and they can handle some neglect, but they come back every year. So they're hardy. So after about 3 to 5 years, they need to be divided to increase the amount of blooms that you can get from your plant, and especially when they become root bound. So I'm going to do a little demo here on dividing this one. Now this is a very small clump that is not tightly root bound. So we'll see what it looks like when I pull it out of here. And you see it's coming out very easily.
Oh, nice.
Wow, I planned this. So you have, we'll lay it here like this, and when it's tightly root bound, then what you want to do is get your knife out. And you start slicing it in two. But I don't think we're going to have to on this one. I think we're just going to start working it, and it will start separating. Like this right here. So, separate. This is a plant. I say it's going to separate. You just, if I had water here, that would help for it to release. So there's one. So those are all individual plants, and you see how easy this is separated. So you just get these separated out.
I missed the first part. Do you have to soak them in water first?
Yes, you can, if you've got water.
But you don't have to.
The question was whether you should soak your plants in water before you start dividing them, and the answer was?
Yes. If they're really root bound and tight, watering it, putting it under water or soaking it, that will help you separate them. But as you can see, this is pretty easy. This is a small one. And what I'm going to do on this, I'm going to get my knife out. Yeah, thank you. And there. And that won't injure it. All you got to do is then, where's my pot? Here it is. You want to then spread your roots out. Put it in here. Add some dirt to it. And you can usually do, if you're going to put it in a pot, 2 to 3 clumps in a pot.
Will daylilies overwinter in a pot?
Yes, they will overwinter in a pot. They will live in a pot for years if you don't divide. Some people like to keep them in a pot, but after a certain point, you will need to separate. But yes, they will overwinter in a pot. So you can see by this one clump, I got 7 individual plants that you can spread throughout your garden to place wherever you want to within the garden. Did you have a question? Oh, okay. And these have a real, as you can see, the root system here. So if you live in an area where you have erosion in your garden or your yard, plant your daylilies, and that will help prevent erosion because of the root system. And after you have put them in pots or put them in the ground, make sure you water them real well so that your roots will have a good start in their new home. And you usually want to dig up and divide in the springtime or in the fall. so that the roots will have time to get established in their new home.
So divide before it flowers.
Yes, you can divide before it flowers or right after it flowers. These are tough plants. They can pretty much make it.
How much root system do you have to have before it's likely not going to survive?
Well, when you say well, you can trim this back, but you would want to keep some of these roots, this portion right here. Is that what you're talking about?
What if you lost most of it?
About half of it.
When you were, over half of it when you were digging it up, and you just have a few of those rootings left. Will it still?
I think they'll survive. And they spread so easily. Karen, she is the authority. She is much more knowledgeable on daylilies, so she can also
If
answer.
you're anxious like I am and you don't have a lot of patience and you break that fan off the greenery, you can still plant the crown and the roots and it'll come up.
Does it really hurt the daylily to move it when it's actually in bloom?
I don't think so, because I have received some that had blooms on them when they dug them up, and I just replanted it, and it survived.
I've done the same thing. I've actually replanted daylilies. It's the only plant I can say that I have replanted year round. If it's in bloom, you can dig it up, and what I do, it doesn't mean it's right, but what I do is I cut off the fans so that they're about this tall and leave the bloom stalk. So it'll continue to bloom and you can dig it up while it's in bloom. It may not be the best for it, but it doesn't kill it.
Well, and there's one particular daylily that really spreads, and that's what I'm trying to remove out of my bed. So a lot of times I will dig that one up because I've seen that you can't kill it. So now the one.
You want a bed?
Well, that's my experience. I haven't killed those yet, and those are the traditional ones that I call, and you can't get rid of it.
Is it Kwanzaa?
Yeah. Or the orange ditch lily, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. As they say, there's a place for everything.
It's a pretty one.
Yes, but they can overtake your better daylilies.
It spreads by roots, it spreads by seeds, it spreads by itself.
Yes.
By night and by day.
So that group I'm taking down on a slope where I live at, and let it just take over. Any more questions, comments? We have a monthly meeting every month where we have different speakers that come in. We do some type of a daylily, either exchange, silent auction, or buy. So if you'd like more information on the Daylily Society, I have a piece of paper right here, and you can put your email address down and we'll notify you. And thank you all for coming.
Thank you.